This is Lauren. This is my thesis, the College Survival Guide. I'm still working on the name, but I'll get to that a little bit later. So the problem that I came up with is that college is a hard and confusing time for new students and current students with little to no guidance available to them. And the way that I'm taking to solve this is create an online journal that offers advice and tips to current and prospective students that can be easily accessed and offers a wide variety of topics to read about. Currently, there is some competition among this. Obviously, this concept is nothing really new. There's a lot of websites that offer similar things and other college survival guides. However, I found that many of them are very vague with the information they give. They don't go into a whole lot of different topics that are usually the very generic, say, top 10 tips and advice, which kind of gets old and boring and super repetitive. It's like, oh yes, I read this on this site and I'll read it on 20 other sites. They offer little to no advice as to what to do if something goes wrong. Most of them are very positive, which is always a bad thing, but they don't really acknowledge that when you are in college, things can go wrong and do go wrong. And then beyond that, they really don't go too much in depth with the information. It's very short bullet points with very short paragraphs of text, 2 or 3 sentences per bullet point, and there'll be 10 bullet points. I'm like, that's not really going to get any information across. So my solution, what I think is better, is first, why did I pick a website? Websites are easy to access. It doesn't require any downloads or phone save space. You can pull it up on your PC, a different PC, pull it up anywhere on campus, as long as you have internet connection stuff. And the reason is because I know how to code a website. I am majoring in web design and development, so I wanted to make a website not only for this thesis, because I know I can make one, but also for future resume purposes, to use this for future resume purposes. And furthermore, I can make websites mobile friendly. I know how to tweak the code and make it the CSS so that it, when you change the size from a desktop to a mobile view size, it changes everything and moves everything so it still looks nice without you having to scroll left and right and up and down like crazy. Furthermore into it, I'm planning to go more in depth with some information. I'm talking not a whole novel or anything, but definitely longer articles about the definition, about the topics that I plan to go over. I plan not to just scratch the surface, but talk about actual problems that may arise in college, things that I don't really see talked about very often, like bad roommates, bad professors, bad advisors, even bad RAs, because I've known a few people who have had bad RAs, and that's kind of okay, what do I do in that point kind of thing. I want to talk realistically and relatably. I don't want it to be some super fluffy thing that's oh, everything's going to be super fine, super perfect, super fantastic. In reality, yes, most things are fine, but things do go wrong. It happens, it's life, it's the way it is, that kind of thing. And it's going to be written by a college student, me, for college students. Many other things are sometimes written by people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and up, that are just remembering back the old times of college and writing guides for them. And while they do probably most likely remember their college experiences, they probably don't remember all the details behind that. And then all the research I'm conducting, which I'll talk about in a second, is from current college students and professors who deal with this stuff yearly, every year, every day, that kind of thing. And going into the research, so far I've done 2 surveys. I've gotten about 7 responses on the student survey and a handful of responses on the professor survey. I want to get roughly at least 10 each. I want to keep it open for a little while longer, and yeah. So the 2 surveys, I have a student survey. I asked for their difficulties and successes in college, as well as advice they were given, even bad advice they were given, because I feel that's very important, because I've been given bad advice before, I've heard bad advice before, and I really want to tackle those issues hey, don't follow this, it's really bad advice. I know a lot of people hear some bad advices. I really want to like knock those down, tell them why they're bad advice, why you shouldn't follow it, that kind of thing. And then for the professor survey, I asked for what students' biggest struggles they see are and what they believe students should do to succeed, because professors see things in a way that obviously college students don't. And college students might be a little lost, but professors probably can look at it and be like, oh, this is what this person needs to do. This is what they should be doing. This is what they need to do to like succeed in the college environment. And then for both of them, these will be used to strengthen current topics that I have, highlight certain points, or even create new topics if I see the theme is recurring enough. Like if I see people talking about tutoring, for example, which is already a topic of mine, but if I see a lot of people talking about tutoring, I'll be like, okay, obviously tutoring is a big theme, big subject. I need to make another topic about that. And then research for the future. I got suggested by one of my viewers to probably do another survey. I got suggested by a lot of them to do maybe more surveys, but one that really stuck out to me was a suggested survey for RAs. And I think that's a really good idea because they also deal with students not in the classes environment like professors do, but in the living environment, which is where I feel like a lot of the early struggles begin, such as like laundry, roommates, kitchen, cleaning, learning to cook. You'll be surprised by how many people burn popcorn. I'm sure a lot of students can tell stories about that. And they're at the front end of most of the problems, and they've dealt with this stuff for years and years, and they know how to deal with this stuff now. And then wireframes, I'll show pictures in a second. What I've done so far is some rough sketches for page layouts. I have three total pages: home, about, and the journal page. The home will have a brief description about the purpose of the journal, the website, and give like a brief overview, that kind of thing. About page will be about me, the author, will be about my college, kind of my college experience a little bit, like nothing super long, just like a short paragraph or two about me, that kind of stuff. And then the journal page. Journal page will be like where they'll find the information, and it's kind of laid out so that like different pages will load on it. I'll explain it in a second. And this is all subject to change as needed. I don't think too much of it will change, but it just kind of depends as how things go along. And then I also have the colors picked out and where the colors will go on each page. So here's my wireframes. The upper left is the home page. At the top we have the navigation bar, the logo, home, about, journal. And then we'll have like a brief like welcome title kind of thing, and then followed by the description text. And then on the right, it's going to be like this big column that has every main topic and subtopic just laid out, so the person can be like, oh, okay, this is what they're going to talk about when I go to the journal page. And then I want to have a footer on each page. I don't know exactly what I should put in it yet, but I do know I want one. I just got to figure that out. And then middle is about page. You'll see like there's a big thing for the picture of me, as well as the title and description of me, that kind of thing. And then on the last one is the journal page, and it has two pages because one will be like the main page where you haven't picked like a main topic and subtopic yet, and next to it is a brief overview of like what the journal will talk about, that kind of thing. And what you would do is you would pick the main topic and you'd pick the subtopic, and then it would load into like that journal article like it's pictured below, where it has the brief description of the main topic and then has paragraphs upon paragraphs about like the subtopics, and then you can always go back to the previous page to pick another subtopic. And then on the very bottom, those are the colors that I picked out. I'm not going to use them like crazily. It's not going to look like a freaking clown circus all over the website. It's going to be like neat and orderly. And then problems that arised. I had a problem thinking of like a lot of topics. Like I know like a few things I want to cover. I do have a list laid out, but I had some problems thinking of like topics that aren't usually talked about beyond just things like tutors, studying, dorms, roommates, RAs, that kind of stuff. That's why I made the surveys, to get ideas for topics about, like, okay, what do people need to be talked about more? What do people need guidance about? And then another thing I know I'm gonna probably struggle with is keeping topics concise but informative. Because, like I said, I don't want to write an entire book. I just want to write like an article. I don't want to like have like things super long to read, because no one really wants to sit there and just read through pages and pages and pages and pages. They really want like quick information, but also informative information. And another problem is standing out, because, like I said before, this is not a new concept. It's been done by others before, but I'm trying to counter that by making it unique, making it very, making everything made made by me. I'm writing all the articles. I'm hand coding the website. I'm not using Wix or WordPress or anything like that. But I'm still looking for like ideas and stuff to make it like really stand out. And then lastly, the name. I still can't think of a catchy name, because College Survival Guide is used by everything basically. There's like tons and tons of pages of things just called College Survival Guide. And while I feel like that's a good key phrase, I don't want it to be called that. And then the next steps are, I'm going to do an RA survey. I got to find out, first of all, how to contact all the RAs. I know there's like a head RA department. I got to figure out what their contact is and see if they can like spread that for me. For the design, I'm going to start coding and lay out everything that I need. And then the journal, I need to start writing. And that's my project. I hope everyone likes it so far, and I look forward to working on these next steps.